It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Thursday's Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, what is today? October 24th, 2024. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. A little on the cooler side. Last night it was down in the 40s again. We had a couple really nice days up in the upper 70s. It's not going to get that warm today. All right, to bring you up with the latest in the happenings here at the Falls and the latest avalanche to hit us. We found out yesterday afternoon we have to replace the heating system. The whole thing. So they were going to come Tuesday, and they called yesterday afternoon and said, hey, we got a truck free. Can we start tomorrow? I said, okay, come on. So they're here working, so we could have any kind of interruptions. They could be, sawing and cutting and drilling and whatever all they got to do. Of course, they're currently up in the attic space is where the unit's going in, where the old one was. I did have to turn the electricity off, so I know that they're up there working on hot stuff. So, but it was massively expensive. We're looking at like 12 grand. Anyway, that's working on it now. So I'm definitely the poor first cousin. So enough with my trials and tribulations. Welcome to today's podcast, by the way. Brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scootaround, and of course by Chillie's Cruises. The lead headline today, folks, when we get to it, cruise lines win major Cuba cruise case, which was actually an appeal that they won. Also today, Overboard from a Taylor Swift themed cruise. New Orleans to set a record. Viking orders more ships. We don't talk about Viking much, and we need to. I mean, they're not one of the big four, but they're right in there, probably 5 or so. Azamara reveals travel agent Curated cruise. We'll talk a little bit more again today about Elizabeth's anniversary and Sylvia from Orlando. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, folks, is National Greasy Food Day. I don't know who writes this stuff. I'm not a big fan of greasy food. Yes, I do go to fast food, so if you want to count that as greasy food, okay. But like one of the things that I love that has to be considered greasy food is a good Reuben, because they grill the bread. So maybe for Greasy Food Day, I'll get a Reuben for dinner tonight. That sounds like a terrific idea. All right, this day in 1938, couple of weeks before my time, with the passage of the Fair Labor Standards Act, the 40-hour work week went into effect in the United States. I don't know if that's something to celebrate or something to cry over. Now, I admit, folks, not much of my life was spent on a 40-hour work week. I wasn't, a 9-to-5 guy on pretty much anything I've done in my life. So I worked extremely crazy hours, and usually lots of them. Even now, I work crazy hours just doing what I'm doing. Yeah, admittedly, half the time it's from here and the other half it's from a cruise ship. But, the hours do add up. So anyway, we can celebrate the 40-hour work week, especially for some of you that have had to do it. All right, so if you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All you have to do is search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. We do this Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, if anything major happens, I'll jump in and do another live. Sometimes when things are going right, I might do multiple lives in a day. But the main live stream, folks, is this show. We broadcast live at this point on Facebook, YouTube, and X. So before we get to news today, do have a couple little things to touch on. We talked yesterday about it being Elizabeth's anniversary. 32 days at sea. This was put together by our friends in Cozumel at the No Name Bar. And I also sent a nice video to Elizabeth wishing her happy anniversary and for her to hurry and come home and, all those things. Because they miss her. She was at No Name quite often. When I go to Cozumel, I often go to No Name Bar as well. So this was Alma and the crew at No Name put this together for Elizabeth. The other thing last night, my friend Sylvia was at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts in Orlando. She was there for a concert, and I don't remember what concert she was there for. Anyway, so she was out doing another concert. I'll tell you what, she's, to me, is one of the most amazing people in the world with what she does and where she goes in her chair. I mean, she's, also a brand ambassador for Will, as I am. She uses the same chair I do. Only she fits in hers a lot better than I fit in mine. But anyway, Sylvia is, she's just an amazing, amazing woman. So, all right, guys, before I get to the news, how about a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors? I'll be back in just a minute. All right, so the top story today, folks, comes from, well, it's a combination of places, actually. Florida, I guess, would be the leader in this. Carnival Corporation, Royal Caribbean, MSC Cruises, and Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings have won a major appeals victory with respect to cruises to Cuba several years ago, following a lawsuit that alleged trafficking claims against the cruise lines. The U.S. 11th Circuit Court of Appeals released its 42-page conclusion on Tuesday, bringing to a likely end the years-long suit and vacating the initial judgment that would have required the lines to pay nearly $440 million in damages. The initial suit was against the cruise line's use of Havana docks for guest operations with voyages that visited Cuba from 2015 to 2019, when the Obama presidential administration lifted restrictions that prohibited travel to the island nation. During those years, Cruise Line earned at least $1.1 billion in revenue and paid $138 million to Cuban government entities as part of the travel arrangements. That travel was supposed to create people-to-people travel rather than tourism travel, which cruise lines interpreted based on the tour opportunities and experiences they offered. The Havana Docks Corporation, under a limited property operational agreement, alleged that the cruise lines failed to pay them for the use of the property, which then was considered trafficking activities instead of legitimate operations. What became the central issue for the appeals decision is not the amount of initial damages awarded, or indeed whether or not the cruise lines are actually in violation of the Helms-Burton Act governing commercial activities between the U.S. and Cuba. Instead, actual ownership of the dock facilities is what was called into question. This impacted the property rights and who could claim such damages, which the appeals court determined would have expired in 2004, more than a decade before the cruise lines used the dock facilities in any way. A search was underway for a 66-year-old woman who fell overboard from Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas during a Taylor Swift cruise near Nassau. The incident occurred around 9:40 p.m. on Tuesday, approximately 17 miles from Nassau, while the vessel was en route to Royal Caribbean's private island, Perfect Day, at Coco Cay. According to guests on board, the ship's crew called a code Oscar shortly after the woman was reported missing and the ship retraced course. Search operations involving the U.S. Coast Guard, Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and rescue boats were launched. An HC-144 airplane crew and an MH-65 Dolphin helicopter were dispatched to assist in the search. Sister Oasis-class ship Utopia of the Seas also helped scan the area. As of Wednesday morning, the search was still going on, with Coast Guard ships and planes continuing the search effort. After a few hours, Allure of the Seas was cleared to continue its itinerary. After more than 50 hours of searching just north of Nassau, the search for the woman overboard from Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas has been suspended. The decision to end the active search and rescue operation was made by Royal Bahamas Defense Force, which was leading the joint effort with our Coast Guard. Though the cruise had a Taylor Swift theme, the artist was not associated with the sailing and did not endorse the sailing whatsoever. Our thoughts go out to the family and friends of the lady who went overboard. Norwegian Cruise Line has cut prices again on the NCL Bliss Transatlantic, sailing from Miami on January 4th, 2025 to Southampton, landing on January 17th, 2025. This 13-night transatlantic voyage, double occupancy, start at $614 per person. Solo cabin start at $714, including all taxes and port charges. You sail from Miami, stops in Ponta Delgado, Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal, Vigo, Spain, Le Havre in France, and then arrive in Southampton on the 17th. Why not join us on the fabulous NCL Bliss Transatlantic, January 4th from Miami? We'll see ya on the Bliss. Just call me, 434-258-9264. For the first time since the end of the pandemic era, the Port of New Orleans will set a new record number of annual cruise passengers. By the end of 2024, the port will have seen 1.3 million cruise passenger movements through the facility, including guests on ocean-going and river ships. The passenger total will easily exceed 2023's 1.2 million transits, which signaled the port's return to the 2019 level. That year was a record breaker, surpassing the 1.1 million recorded in 2018. With the increase to 1.3 million in 2024, the cruise sector accounts for more than 15% of the port's annual revenue. The increase in cruise tourism helps not only the port, but also the city of New Orleans. With about 90% of cruise arrivals traveling to the port from other states, roughly 70% of them will book pre- and post-cruise stays in the Big Easy. That translates to some 300,000 hotel room night bookings and about 125 million in revenue for local businesses. The port accommodates cruise ships at 2 terminals. Carnival Cruise Line uses the port's Erato Street Cruise Terminal, while Royal Caribbean and Norwegian use Julia Street Terminal. New Orleans also welcomes river cruises that ply the Mississippi River, including Viking and American Cruise Lines. Congratulations to New Orleans. Viking Cruises is set to further grow its fleet with orders for 2 vessels that will enter service in 2030. Italian shipbuilder Fincantieri confirmed in a Wednesday announcement. The cruise line, which also operates the largest river cruise fleet in the industry, placed options for 4 additional ocean-going ships with the builder. The options agreement includes deliveries in 2031 and 2032. Azamara Cruises today announced the release of its fully customized itinerary designed by travel advisor Erica Lane. According to the company, Lane won the 2023 Chart Your Own Course sweepstakes, designing an exclusive 11-day trip to the French Riviera. The journey promotes a rich blend of culture, beauty, and luxury, Azamara said, reflecting the winner's dream of experiencing the best of southern France's coast. Named the Mysteries and Love, the itinerary is scheduled to sail in the summer of 2026, beginning in Civitavecchia, the port of Italy's capital city, Rome. The special cruise also includes a visit to Bonifacio in Corsica before exploring the Côte d'Azur and disembarking in Nice, France. According to Azamara, guests will enjoy the picturesque stops in Menton, famous for its lemon trees, Marseille, where they can try bouillabaisse and explore the Vaux port, the glamorous Saint-Tropez, and Cannes, where passengers will be able to stroll along the waterfront promenade Boulevard de la Croisette. The cruise also features an overnight stay in Monte Carlo, offering guests the chance to visit the Casino de Monte Carlo or explore the Prince's Palace of Monaco, home of the Royal Grimaldi family. Boy, is this a great way for the cruise season to wind down. Nothing in the Atlantic, and Hurricane Christie moving westward as a very powerful Category 4 hurricane, but not likely to encounter any land. Current location of Christie is about 845 miles southwest of the southern tip of Baja, 650 miles west-southwest of Socorro Island. Maximum sustained winds are 150 miles an hour. It's moving to the west at 17. Central pressure is 933 and steady. Christie is a Category 4 hurricane. Some fluctuations in strength are expected through today, with rapid weakening expected to begin tonight or tomorrow. So that should put an end to Christie with no land in sight, which is a good thing. And maybe this will wrap up the hurricane season for us. Let's hope. There's no bad time to visit New Orleans, but the fall months are especially charming with seasonal celebrations and comfortable temperatures. If you're heading to the Big Easy, book a scooter or wheelchair rental and explore this historic city hassle-free. New Orleans mobility rentals are 10% off until the end of the year. That's right, folks. New Orleans rentals, 10% off until December 31st, 2024. Call Scoot Around toll free, 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137. That's New Orleans Mobility Rentals. And that puts an end to the news portion of today's show. So let's jump over and see who's in the chat room fussing at me this morning. Yaya is with us. Says, hi, how you doing? Is this was Yaya. And is it two? Sane? Edward Richard says hi. Hi to all you guys. Kenneth's with us. Good morning, Kenneth, up in Pennsylvania. There's Mike from the other side of the pond. Amy's with us, says happy Thursday. Thanks, Amy. And there's a hot air Tom, as usual, back in his normal spot. Katie's with us. Katie's working. She slipped away. I can feel it. Of course, everybody's still speaking back and forth. Chillie just needs a little hot air. Yeah, we need a little more than a little hot air. So, man, it's been an expensive year. Oh, good Lord. Gretchen's with us out in Ohio. Hey, Gretchen. Bob's here down in Kingsport, Tennessee. Good morning, Bob. Have a great day. Thank you very much. There's Gary, older than dirt. How we doing, Gary? Jim's with us. Good morning, Jim. Emily got out of bed. Says hello, everyone. Always good to have you with us, Emily. And there's Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Katie says, traveling to different schools today. I'm listening as long as I have service. Oh, awesome. Out on the road. Bliss is now half price over what I paid a few months ago. Let me see if I can do anything about that. I don't think I can, since it's well past final day. I'll try. I'll give them a call. It's not going to hurt to ask. Emily's saying hello to everybody. Good luck, Katie, at over the other schools. 3 schools today, Katie says. How many storms get 2 names like Christie? That is interesting, since she was a Caribbean storm and renamed when she hit the Pacific and re-strengthened. Yeah, because she started off in the Atlantic. And the Atlantic side of things has a set of storms. And then she crossed over, the Yucatan and into the Pacific and was renamed. I know that's odd, and it's happened in the past. Doesn't happen very often, because usually you don't have them on both sides. Oh, yeah. Kenneth asked where Mike is. Lichfield, Stratfordshire, England. I probably knew that, Kenneth, but I would not have remembered it. That's not one that's just right on the tip of my tongue. I still think everything in England is London, and I know that's not true. And that's not insulting to Mike. That's just the way my brain works. And I've been to England a dozen times. And matter of fact, I prefer being away from London. But my brain still says, "Oh yeah, England, that's London." About an hour by train from London, 90 minutes by train from Southampton. Yeah, there we go. For those who have traveled from Southampton port, is it easy and reasonably priced to get to London to the port? Most transfers are around $75, for a direct transfer. So, and the cruise ships all have, have transfers available. I just booked one on Norwegian from Heathrow to Southampton, I think it was $74. So, $75, give or take a little bit. And then it depends where you're going in London too. It might be a little more, it might be a little less. But yeah, there's plenty of transfers. Kenneth says we're going on Cunard and we'll be in London and Southampton. National Express bus is very reasonable, mid-20s. Mid-20s to go from London to Southampton? Boy, I couldn't find that when I was looking the other day. Mike says Cindy at Seagot. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, I've got a workman here. He's been really quiet. Earlier, I mean, he was drilling and sawing and, making quite a racket. It's not right over my room, but from the corner of my room, it's about 4 feet into the next room. So it's pretty close to over my room. And of course, I've got ductwork that comes into this room. Cindy says, awesome. I'm going to spend 4 days pre-cruise in London and then cruising from Southampton in 2026. Well, we'll have you plenty of information on that, Cindy, because we're going to be doing that in January. Train from Waterloo Station to Southampton Central. Yeah. Well, it's always good to have Mike over there because he's knowledgeable, a lot more knowledgeable than any of us are. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Whoopee! I'm not doing anything today other than being here in case the workman needs something. So, thankfully I don't have any doctors to go to or anything else today. Oops, Mike, wrong direction. Chillie and I are traveling to Lowe's. Oh yeah, Lowe's Loft or something like that to visit a friend. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. And if you have not subscribed, please take this as my invitation to do so. Especially welcome to you guys from X. It's always good to have you. Again, I sent information through to StreamYard again yesterday, and they still have not fixed the system. So I'll try to get them back again today. All right, guys. Hopefully we'll have the X people in the chat room one of these days. All right. That's going to wrap it up for today. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. See you same time, same channel tomorrow morning. Have a good day, y'all. Later.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie Cruises.